Welcome to the Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering this week and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Westwood, and I'm here today with Editor-In-Chief Hugo Gurdon. And Hugo, President Biden gave his State of the Union speech this week and started out on sort of a bipartisan note. Do you think that overall, though, it was a bipartisan address?
No, it certainly wasn't. But as you say, he started out rather well. He was saying, he had a rather charming, not so much exchange, but he said a few things to Kevin McCarthy, congratulating him on getting the speakership. And he said, look, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you. It was Joe Biden at his best. It seemed relaxed, and it was, there was a sort of bipartisan note. But as the speech went on for its hour and a quarter or so, it became just an extraordinary list of how Joe Biden would insist that the central government, the federal government, took control of more and more of our every nook and cranny of our lives. I mean, he was talking about such petty things as controlling resort fees, and stepping into just these tiny little areas where the federal government really has no role, and also how he can spend more money. He was going to invest, by which, of course, politicians mean spend, more taxpayers' money on just any number of things. And no, it was not in the least bit, by the end, it was not in the least bit bipartisan. He wanted to create that impression. But of course, he has spent his first 2 years execrating the Republicans and talking about them as racist and introducing voting laws, which he describes as Jim Crow on steroids. He wanted to present that kind of face to the public in this primetime address, which was an unofficial launch of his re-election campaign, but there wasn't anything really bipartisan about it.
There was a sort of inherent tension, and I guess all incumbents have to face this contradiction between Biden saying that every problem has been fixed by his administration, but also that he, deserves more time to finish the job. Do you think he squared that circle well?
Well, he as you say, every incumbent wants to run on how wonderfully they've done in their first term, but also say that they deserve and somehow need a second term. And Joe Biden fit exactly into that template. He very notably used the phrase, let's finish the job. He used it 14 times in the course of his speech. And really, the translation or the subtitle that should have been under, as you saw him say, let's finish the job, was let me keep my job. He was saying, we're now asking getting the rich to pay, or the wealthy to pay more in taxes, but let's finish the job. There are still, far more people who could be in Medicare. Let's finish the job. This was his unofficial launch of his re-election campaign. People will have to judge. I certainly don't think that his first 2 years suggest that he merits another 4 years, or indeed it's 6 years he will be in if he's from now on. But no, I don't think he squared that circle. It's just he did what incumbents do, which is to say, I'm marvelous and I should be allowed to be marvelous again for another 4 years.
If he does launch his re-election bid, do you think there's a sweet spot for timing it? If he does it too soon, does he risk, getting rid of some of his leverage? If he does it too late, does he risk getting in more political trouble? I mean, when do you think he should launch?
Well, he does have time on his side. He's now in pretty much an unassailable position. Part of his non-bipartisanship was that he moved sharply to the left. He basically has completely abandoned the selling point that got him elected the first time, which is that he was a centrist. He was an alternative to Bernie Sanders and to Elizabeth Warren. He's not an alternative now. Elizabeth Warren was absolutely thrilled with what he was saying, and the camera fell on her many times during the speech. She's absolutely delighted by all of the left-wingery, all of the massive, endless spending. So he cannot now be outflanked to the left. And the Democratic Party is entirely in control of the left. So Joe Biden is not going to face any kind of challenge. And so he has time before he has to make it official, and there may be reasons why he doesn't make it official for a while. And I think that more Republicans are going to come out before Biden says, I'm running again.
Well, Hugo, thank you so much for being here today. You can get more writing from Hugo and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.